Mid-morning talk with Najma Kota, and this is the last half hour of our program for this Monday's edition of Mid-morning talk. As I said in our introduction, we know that Cape Town is an award-winning destination home to an array of bucket list experiences. But today on our program, we call in our very special guest, Ameer, and we're talking about halal tourism in Cape Town. Firstly, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the program, Brother Ameer.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, Sister Najma, and to all the listeners.
So tell us, what is halal tourism?
That's a good question. So, halal tourism, specifically for Muslims, we try and make travel arrangements and cities that are visit in the most Islamic manner in terms of Sharia. And so we try to comply with that principle when taking travelers to various destinations, trying to get halal hotels, if not halal friendly, and also assisting with meals that are fully halal, if not halal friendly.
Is this local or international as well?
So I'm referring to both local and international, Sister Najma.
hmm So, in terms of Cape Town and what it has to offer, we know that this is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It has so much to offer in terms of its natural beauty, the Table Mountain, picturesque beaches, and nature to history. And I think for us today, particularly when we look at history and the heritage of what Cape Town Muslims have brought for us as South African Muslims, since it's Heritage Month, I think if you can allow us to just take us on a journey of this uh, tour in Cape Town.
So, firstly, Cape Town, it's also referred to as the mother city. And
hmm
as you said, it is one of the most beautiful cities, not just in Africa, but in the world. And
hmm
according to a survey that was done in July 22, Cape Town was actually ranked 11th, the 11th most beautiful city in the world.
hmm
And we know that it's the Heritage Month and a Heritage Week. And so it is very important to know where your heritage stems from, and
hmm
especially if you are Capetonian. And we know that Islam was brought here by various luminaries, which are known as saints, and
hmm
specifically, and not to exclude any, but to mention the late Sheikh Yusuf
hmm
al-Makassari, and he was the one of the saints that were brought here by the Dutch, and he was the one that laid the foundation for Islam here in the Cape. And he taught many ulama and many scholars the deen of Islam, and his main mission was to actually propagate and do the da'wah of Islam here in the Cape specifically. And when we speak about halal tourism specifically in the Cape, Cape Town has various cultures and various religions, and
hmm
so we find that a lot of Muslims tend to visit, and we know that Buakap, being one of the most popular places to visit, and especially in terms of the people always ask the question about the colorful houses in Buakap, which
hmm
is situated at the foot of Signal Hill, and
hmm
this Buakap is actually known as the Malay Quarter, as
Right.
many Indonesians and Malaysians slaves were brought to the Cape by the Dutch. And these houses were leased to these slaves. And apparently, while on lease, the properties had to be white in color. However, when this rule was lifted and available for purchase, people painted these houses various colors, and this was to celebrate the freedom and to signify the freedom. And
hmm
Cape Town also, as we know, has offers various cuisines. One
Right.
such is the Malay cuisine, and there are many, including breedies, which are stews, curries, pickles, savory snacks, sweet rich, such as boba, cook sisters, and a variety of desserts. One of them, namely puddings, which is
Mhm.
the Cape Malay take on home puddings.
So, can one, as a tourist, then, for example, go to Burkap and enjoy this very cultural setup in terms of cuisine, language, and of course the rich history?
Yes, so this is something that we do offer where you can actually visit a local family in the Boer,
Hmm.
and this custom and it was passed down from generation to generation, where you can actually experience a meal, a Cape Malay meal with a Muslim family, and
Hmm.
also have something where we actually offer a Cape Malay cooking course, where you can actually learn how to cook, the basic meals of a Malay cuisine. And in Buakap itself, we have 9 mosques, which is very nice.
Right. Hmm.
Two of those, which are the Owal Mosque and the Palm Tree Mosque, they are basically the oldest mosque in Cape Town, with
Hmm.
a rich history. It
Hmm.
also is home to many museums and variety of buildings,
Hmm.
various architecture such as the Cape Dutch architecture and the Georgian
Hmm.
architecture. You'll find the original pieces and original buildings still intact, which
Hmm.
brings a nice feel to the city.
Hmm. Um, it sounds like a very authentic experience, and I think we look for that in other parts of the world. It's a very popular part, experience in terms of tourism and travel. So, do you get local tourists, or is that more popular with international tourists?
So we get a mixture of both. Actually, we get people from upcountry, Johannesburg, Durban, that tend to visit Cape Town, and some of them, they have different travel needs, and we also have people coming from abroad, international guests coming from America, the United
Hmm.
States of America, Muslim families from America. We're touching on Africa. We have groups coming in from Kenya, and
Hmm.
also reaching out to Europe. We have the people coming from all over Europe and UK as well. And
Hmm.
these people, some Muslims, some are not of Muslim faith, and as I said, they all asking for something unique, and some are into a more nature type guide
Hmm.
trips, where others
Hmm.
would like us, just to tailor make something for them
Hmm.
to address the specific needs. And so you get the adventure type traveler,
Hmm.
you get the nature type traveler, and then you get the traveler that just wants a lot of history of the places that they are visiting. So
Hmm.
that is what we're offering at the moment.
Okay. And in terms of, it's Tuan Guru, right? Fondly known as Sheikh
Correct.
Yusuf of Makassar. Yeah,
No, no.
his
So,
mausoleum, his grave is on Robben Island, right?
so you referring to Sayyid Abdurrahman Mutura? He is the
Uh-huh.
he is the Karamat that is on Robben Island.
I see.
Tuankuru is at the he's actually one of the founders, also based in Buakab. His mosque is there, and the first handwritten Quran is actually at the Awal Mosque, which was handwritten by Tuankuru.
Hmm.
His tomb is also in Buakab as well.
Hmm. So, and apart from those, so those are the ones that stand out for me. But what other places can one expect to visit as a best place for Muslims, as it were?
That's a very good question, and there's no right or wrong answer to that. And as I said, we have travelers that have specific needs,
Mm-hmm.
and are asking us to tailor make packages for them, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would also always suggest that you have various types of Table Mountain is a popular visit.
Mm-hmm.
Go up the Table Mountain, take the cable car up or down. We have various national parks. One of them being Cape Point, which is a
Yes.
famous park that most people tend to meet. That should definitely be on your list. We also have
Mm-hmm.
the Pepper Colony, which is home to various species, and then obviously you add in your Boakap and the Oval Mosque and visit the handwritten Quran, and also
Mm-hmm.
the Palm mosque, which was actually established in 1807. And then you
Mm-hmm.
could also add in some nice karamats if you are
Mm-hmm.
interested in visiting those maqams or those tombs of the various luminaries, which is circling Cape Town actually, starting
Mm-hmm.
from Signal Hill all the way to Furi. So Sheikh Yusuf of Makassar, Tuankuru, Said Abdurrahman Muturo. So if one goes to Robben Island, for example, you can do the tour of the island itself, visit the
Mm-hmm.
cell of the Nelson Mandela and various
Mm-hmm.
other cells. And then you can also visit the tomb of Said Abdurrahman Muturo, and you can
Mm-hmm.
actually get a nice breakdown and a nice history of the sheikh that is buried there. So we have
Mm-hmm.
many awliya that are buried here. It's such a rich history of when they came and what they brought to the Cape, and they all came
Yes.
with a mission to spread the deen of Islam, and that
Mm.
is our heritage. That is especially for the Cape Townians. That is where we come from. That is our
Correct.
heritage. And a lot of
Mm.
people actually, they're actually confused because they're not sure actually where they come from. They're not sure, about their ancestors. And
Yeah.
it's these are ancestors, and one should actually research these luminaries because we have various people that are actually strongly linked. If it's not to
Mm-hmm.
Sheikh Rahman Turo, if it's not Sheikh Yusuf of Makassar, etc. So it's
Mm-hmm.
very important.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that having, traced that history, does one become a bit more conscientious of our roots? Because, we've got the different provinces, right, in South Africa. And I'm just busy reading the book by Joanne Joseph. She's written the sugarcane, children of sugarcane, and it's of course this history of the laborers that came in from India into
Mhm.
Durban, or KZN, as it were, and then we have the Malay history in Cape Town. And I think reviving this type of historical significance is extremely important to us broader South Africans, not just as Muslims, but as South Africans of, heritage of color, if you like, in our ancestors or our predecessors that came here. So it's an interesting history to trace and follow, and then through what we're doing today and through your tourism industry, I think we can really bring that kind of love for where we come from more actively, and it becomes more significant then.
100%. And personally, from a personal perspective, I met a few people that are actually directly linked to various awliya that are buried in the Cape. And
Uh-huh.
just to hear these stories, just they feel such a shame, some of them embarrassment, because they haven't lived up to that, and they haven't followed really that way of
Right.
propagating, the deen, or following in the footsteps of so and so, if it's Sheikh Yusuf or Makassar, whether it be Tuankuru. So it actually does have an impact on themselves and their families, where they actually
Hmm.
make intention to actually, just to be a better Muslim, to live a more,
Right.
uh, just to follow
Conscientious
all the
life,
rules.
yes.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm curious, how did they trace that history?
So in Cape Town and in South Africa, we know about the archives,
Yeah.
and so many of those people have traced using the archives in Cape Town, and also the various books that people actually wrote on these awliya, because they actually, some of them have actually left very, I would call it jewels that left behind, which
Mm.
actually mentioned and their lineage, and that it's such a authentic. Thing that people actually flew to Indonesia and flew to Malaysia just to get some more information, because they found out that so and so is actually related to so and so, and that's how they traced it. And so people basically just did the basic family tree, where they
Hmm.
got specialists in historians in, and then they took it even further, where they went up to Indonesia to trace it even further, and they found that,
Wow.
for example, the Sultan of Sheikh Yusuf Makassar, his father was a Sultan and his brother was a
Hmm.
Sultan as well. And so
Mm-hmm.
they traced, and so they saw that one of his offspring actually stayed behind, for example, in Cape Town, and so the offspring spread, and that is how they came about, and that is
Wow.
how that was traced. So it's actually quite amazing.
Yes.
If one goes in depth, and if you and if not to the awliya, we
Mm-hmm.
find that some people are linked, to family in the UK or
Mm-hmm.
Germany or Dutch, because these people came here. Some of them came to actually propagate and to do missionary work. And
Mm-hmm.
we found that there's a place called in Caledon, where a family, a German family, their mission was to actually do missionary work in that vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing enough that one of those offspring um, came into contact with a scholar in that area, and she decided to accept Islam. And it was
Mm-hmm.
an amazing story where she met this the scholar. They got married, and Alhamdulillah, out of the offspring, many people, obviously the Muslim, the lineage started there in. But
Right.
what are the chances? 1 out of 10, 1 to 10 ratio. Um, you know, uh,
Yes.
somebody's going to be Muslim, or someone's going to
Somewhere
embrace
along the
Islam.
line. Yes.
So the other siblings were following the religion of Christianity, and she decided, what, the religion that she wants to follow is Islam. And then from that line, Alhamdulillah, that's our lineage spread, and many Muslims, Alhamdulillah, came from that lineage. Alhamdulillah.
Mm-hmm. Alhamdulillah. It's quite coincidental that last week I covered Indonesia in my travel segment. And unfortunately, we didn't follow through properly with it because we had, load shedding and connectivity issues. But it's that we're bringing back, and it is the Indonesian people that were actually brought to Cape Town, and whom we now label as Malay. So it's very interesting, and I hope that we've been able to perk the interest of our viewers and listeners this morning, whether you're from any other country in the world or especially South African. And as Muslims, if you want, I think that would be a completely different experience of visiting Cape Town. No matter how many times you've been, its beauty is always spellbinding. Cape Town itself, the Western Cape, that whole coastline, the people. When we talk about tourism, there's a lot. We talk about culture, and culture is language, and of course, food, but the people. And I am a proudly South African, and I must say that the Cape Townian people just stand out as the best people in the country. And I'm not just patronizing you
I'll take
or
I'll
South
take that as a
Africans.
compliment.
You should. You should. They are the
Thank
friendliest,
you.
nicest, softest people, and very, very hospitable. So I think that should be something to look forward to in terms of being a tourist in Cape Town. And tourist in your own country is something different, right?
100%. It's like a totally different a place. One could actually say it's like a totally different country, because you have these various, as you mentioned, you have these various cultures. You have Africans, you have Indians, you have Asians, you have Muslims, you have Christians, and everybody just coming together nicely, uniting under this banner and just living in peace and harmony. So it's nice to experience these various cultures, and also the various cuisines that's on offer, with the exception of obviously halal, and
Mm-hmm.
also the various accommodation that is on offer, hotels, guest houses. We special arrangements could be made for halal, specifically halal.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard that the bodies are going to actually clamp hard on these hotels that are actually offering halal friendly. And
Oh.
so, yeah, and that's what we've heard now, not too long ago, in Cape Town specifically. So we're
Mm-hmm.
actually following this, and we'll see where that goes,
Mm-hmm.
because we're proud to be South Africans, but we're also proud to be Muslim, and
True.
we would like to be catered for in all facets, whether it be
Yes.
tourism, whether it be accommodation. So these are
Mm-hmm.
things that one should actually be mindful of, inshallah, going
True.
going forward.
Right. Is there anything we've left out before we close this interview?
Not that I'm aware of. Only that based on the heritage. Again, I just like to remind all the listeners: just go out there, find out who you are, find out who you are linked to, find out who your ancestors are, and also you're most welcome to come and visit Cape Town anytime. And if you need anything specific, you can also contact me. You can get my details from Najma. And inshallah, we look forward to hosting you and having you as our guest, inshallah. And once
Inshallah.
again, shukran for having me. It's been a real honor and privilege to be speaking to you, Najma, today, and to all the listeners. Shukran again.
Alhamdulillah, the pleasure is all ours. And thank you so much for making the time for us. And I'll take that as a personal invite, Amir Deen.
Inshallah, inshallah. Ameen.
Jazakallah khair for your time this morning. Inshallah, we'll speak again. Assalamu alaikum. And that's it from the Mid Morning Talk with Najma Kota, this Monday edition. It's been a fabulous morning. I hope we've been able to brighten up your day a bit. I know it started a little gloomy, but let's make the best of whatever we can. And remember, stand up, speak up, make the difference. I know you can, I know you have, and we have to continue together in the spirit of humanity. Until next time, stay with Salam Media. I look forward to being with you next week at the same time on Mid Morning Talk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.